Proctor Valley is a road that is from... It's like East Chula Vista, and it takes you down from Chula Vista all the way down to Jamul. And I want to say the drive between one end to the other, it takes around 30 minutes. Because honestly, it's not that long. It just takes long because it's not paved. It's a dirt road. And if you try to step on the gas, literally the car will start drifting sideways.
Really?
Yeah.
But why? Because it's pure dirt?
It's pure dirt, dude. But the way that they set it up, like you can tell como que pasaron una máquina like over it. And it's like the road is like this. It's like bumpy. It's not like dirt, like a straight. Like you can see the tire tracks. Right. But even if you were to follow the tire tracks and like try to step on the gas to go faster, like the car like naturally will start shifting to one side. Because I've tried doing that and it will literally do it. But so back in the day when I wasn't in high school, I was in college already. I want to say it was my first or second year in college. I used to have some friends that they knew of Proctor Valley. I didn't know of Proctor Valley. They knew of Proctor Valley. And they used to go there all the time. And this one time we were getting off class.
But why would they go there?
They would just go there to mess around and to like, because people would go over there and race.
Okay.
But then they would also go over there because they would say it's haunted.
Okay.
And they would say like things would appear. So basically it was like, oh, let's go see if we see anything. Like if something happens to us, because a lot of the times they would say like that they would see like some lady like in a white robe.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. They would see like some lady in a white robe, or they would see like some headlights that they would start chasing them down the road, and then the headlights would disappear. And then the other one was the headlights, that the handprints on the car. And then the other thing, I don't remember. It was like a bunch of things. Sorry, my throat. I'm sick. But basically, like, they would just go down there to see. It's like, oh, let's see if we get spooked or not.
Yeah.
So that was their whole thing. And I remember that when they told me, we were getting off class, and I used to go to Southwestern, so we were not that far away from the road. We were like 10 minutes. And I remember they were like, oh, come on, let's go. So we get in the car. One of them is driving. I'm on the front passenger, and the other, my other friend, he was in the back seat, but he was in the middle seat. So at this point, he was in the middle seat because that car that we were in, one of the back doors, even if you locked the car from the inside, like it wouldn't, for some reason, it wouldn't lock. So from the outside, you can still open the door, even if it was locked.
Yeah.
So he was sitting in the middle. We're like driving down there. And we like, okay, so H Street becomes Proctor Valley, and there's like the last light, and then it's still like a paved road, but there's no more lights and there's no more stop signs. You can just see like the road like narrows, because literally it becomes from like a 2 and 2 to a 1 and 1. So it narrows, and by this time it was later than this. It was like 7 because it was already dark. And when you drive there, if you turn off the car and if you turn off the headlights, dude, like it's pitch black. You cannot see anything. So we get there, and when you first start going down, I want to say it's before you hit all the what's it called? The dirt path. There's a big ass sign that says "Welcome to Proctor Valley," and if you look it up, everybody kind of records that. And by the time we hit the Proctor Valley sign, my friend, the one that was in the back, he started getting a panic attack.
Really?
Yeah, he started getting a panic attack, and he was like, no, like, stop the car, like, let's go back. And he started getting all crazy, and I remember, like, he was just, like, clenching onto my freaking shoulder. And at the beginning, I was like, oh, like, this dude is just messing around, like, he's just being funny. But then when I actually, like, at first, I just felt him grab my shoulder, and I was just ignoring him. And when I turned around, I actually saw that he was scared, and I was like, dude, like, let's just go back because he's getting a whole ass panic attack. And when we were going back, like, he finally calmed down. And when we were all getting into our own cars, he was like, no, like, I had this really bad feeling that something was going to happen to us if we went down there. And the thing is that when you go through that road, you lose signal. Oh, shit. Like, literally, dude, like, you're, like, after getting into the dirt road, I want to say a couple minutes in, like you don't get signal until you're out, and you're out in Jamul, and that's like a 30-minute trip from end to end. So when we were going back and each one of us was going to get our own car, he was like, oh no, like I felt that something was going to happen to us. Like something just kept telling me for us to go back. So we ended up going back, and then he kept saying something about that he would like dream stuff, or every time that he had a bad feeling of something, it like something would actually happen. And he was like, oh no, like I'd rather listen to my gut instinct than for us to like go there and wander around. So we ended up going back. Nothing happened. The next day we had class again, and then they were telling me again like, oh, let's go to Proctor Valley again. And I was like, dude, like you guys are gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna go and come back for nothing.
Yeah.
And my guy friend that was in the back, he was like, no, like let's go get this girl that he was friends with, but she lived all the way in San Isidro, so we had to go pick her up. So we go to her house. We get off the car, and like I didn't know this girl, and then the mom's like, ay, con ustedes va a ir a la playa. Like the lady was asking us if she was gonna go to the beach with us, and I looked at my friends and I was like, dude, like what the fuck, you guys told her that we were going to the beach? Like I knew we were not going to the beach. Yeah. And the señora was like, okay, like, yeah, she can go with you guys, but just be careful, yada, yada, yada. Like, basic Mexican mom saying, right? So we all get in the car and we start driving. And we're obviously going the opposite direction from the beach. We're not going to the beach. And the girl's like, where are we going? She's like, we're not going to the beach. And then Orlen, the one that got the panic attack, he was like, oh, no, dude, we're going to this haunted road. And she was like, she started tripping out, and she was like, why didn't you guys tell me? Like I would have not gone with you guys if you guys would have told me we're going there. And then she wasn't panicking, she was just upset, but then she got over it and she was like, okay, like whatever, like nothing's gonna happen, let's just go. So we end up going. We're in the dirt path for a while, dude, and at this point it feel like literally, dude, it feels like time stopped, and it feel like from 30 minutes we went like into an hour and a half.
Really?
Like the road felt like long. And I remember, dude, like we were driving hella slow, and we were like, dude, I don't remember seeing this part of the road, because by this point, like I had become familiar with that road. Like I had gone there once before or twice. Wait, had I don't fuck. I think I had gone there once or twice before. But the point is that it just felt like long. And I was just like, dude, like, I feel like we've never passed this part of the road. And we were driving, and we finally get out. And that's when our phones finally get service. And I remember back in the day, that's when we all used to use Snapchat. So then I'm in the passenger seat in the front again. And I start messing around, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get off the car. And they were like, no, you're not. And I was like, yes, I am. So I open the door and I step out of the car. And dude, it's pitch black. We're the only car right there, and there's 4 of us. And we don't even know, like there's animals out there, but you don't really know what's out there. So we're there, and then they kept yelling at me for me to get back in the car, and I was like, I'm not getting in the car. Like I was like, oh, let me just record to record. So I had another phone on my other hand, and it had the flashlight, and I was just recording. Sorry. And then I'm like walking towards the front of the car to the side. And when I get to the trunk, I started screaming because there was a bunch of freaking handprints on the back. Like if they were like pushing us out.
No way.
And I started screaming. So then they started freaking out and they started screaming. And they're like, what's wrong? And then I got back in the car and I kind of started like laughing and crying at the same time. And I was like, dude, let's go. So we drove off and there's like a 7-Eleven like 5-10 minutes from there. But after you take the roads, and when we got to 7-Eleven, we parked at 7-Eleven, and I was like, dude, there's a bunch of freaking handprints on the trunk. So they're like, you're lying. And I was like, dude, I have no reason to like get off and look at it. And yeah, we all got off, and then we all went to the freaking trunk, dude, and we can all see the freaking handprints. Like literally, dude, it looked like, it's like if you grab both of your hands and you put them on like dirt, and then you just like go like this on different areas. So then I don't know, dude, it was just crazy. And I remember that I took a Snapchat of it and I posted it on my story, and like a bunch of my people on Snapchat were replying to it because I put that we were in Proctor Valley. But the thing is that I don't even have Snapchat anymore. Yeah, exactly like that.
Here, so I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. That way you guys can see it.
Yep, exactly like that. But there was more. And then the handprints that were in the car, dude, they were like, you know where the silver part is?
Yeah.
En lo de abajo. Like where,
shit.
like the, what we call it? The bumper?
Uh-huh.
It was right there.
Let me see if I can pull up another one because I know there was more other pictures. Yeah, no, I don't think there is. But
Well,
anyways.
I feel like they'll get it with
Yeah.
that picture.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, we get to 7-Eleven and I'm like, oh, this happened. And they didn't believe me. So then I'm like, okay, dude, like, get off the car and look for yourself. And then they got off the car and we were all freaking out because by this point, like, we had never... They had been there way more times than I had, and they had never seen anything. And then this time that we actually all went together, that happened to us. And then the other thing, too, was that when we went to pick up this girl from her house... Orlen told her to sit on the side where the freaking door didn't lock.
Oh, shit.
Because he was he wanted to go, but he was still scared. So he was like, oh, tú siéntate de aquel lado, yo me siento de este. But she obviously didn't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was pretty much everything that happened with the handprints. And then after that, I remember Leslie and my cousin. After that, I kept going. But it took me a while for me to go back. And... this one time, Leslie was like, oh, I really want to go. Leslie's my sister. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take you. But I took her in the daytime. And on the daytime, honestly, it obviously doesn't look spooky. But at night, it's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
And I think the time I took Leslie and I took my cousin, that was the last time I ever went. And I've never been back and I don't want to go.
But they say that there's a legend with Proctor Valley, right? Have you heard about that legend? You never heard of it?
I don't know.
You never heard of the legend of Proctor Valley? Apparently, there's a monster there or something like that. Never heard of that one?
No.
Here, let me pull it up. But yeah, there's a Proctor Valley legend. Let's see if I can.
I feel like there's just so many stories that they say from that place that ni se sabe.
Alright guys, so we are driving on Proctor Valley.
Along Proctor Valley Road, there used to be the Haven Bakery.
So here, let me pull it
now
up.
long gone. The story goes that the bakery was run by a father with a young daughter. One day, road there used to be along Proctor Valley Road. There used to be the Haven
Can I save
Bakery,
it?
but it is now long gone. The story goes that the bakery was run by a father with a young daughter. One day, the father returns to the bakery from a business trip and finds that his daughter hung herself from the ceiling in the basement.
Oh, dude, I'm getting the fucking
The father snaps and goes completely insane, killing all of his workers and stacking their bodies in the bathroom, and then hangs himself as well. Before the place was torn down in 2008, it was rumored to be extremely haunted, especially the bathroom and the basement. The basement was rumored to contain the spirit of the little girl. Have you ever heard of the Haven Bakery?
Okay, so
Did
that's...
you ever visit the bakery while it was still in business?
So that's one, but then
Please
there's another
let me
one.
know in the comments.
Is it?
Have you heard of Proctor Valley Road in San Diego County? The ghost stories surrounding this area date back to over a century ago. The urban legends you'll most likely hear range from a monster that resembles Bigfoot.
Oh,
The spirit
shit.
of a hitchhiking lady in a white and sometimes blue dress, demon
This?
cars that were
Yeah, so you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that people have seen this
This
being.
lady.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I've heard. I don't know if he's going to mention it, but that I guess back, I don't know how long ago, there was this couple that went to prom. And I think, I don't know if the girl died. They got on an accident. I don't know if the girl died or the boyfriend died.
So watch. So they talk about this big monster looking like being.
Let me see. Play.
chase you out of the area. You'll only see his headlights, your car mysteriously breaking down, and finding small handprints on your car.
Oh, watch. They also mentioned about the handprints
Yeah.
on cars. So it's a recurring thing that this
Yeah.
thing happens.
All the rumors started when cattle from a nearby ranch started missing and turning up mutilated miles away. There is also the story of the Haven Bakery that is now gone, but the story is that a man killed his whole
Yeah,
family.
no,
and
they're
then
not
himself.
mentioning
Don't
about
forget
that.
the stories of people being intimately violated and murdered on this road. This lonely dirt road has seen so much tragedy that the spirits are probably just stuck on a loop and constantly reliving the trauma. If you decide to drive this road, please, no one can hear you.
Nah,
Please let
there's
me know
another
in
one.
the
Watch.
comments.
What makes Proctor Valley Road the most haunted road in all of California? For those who don't know, my name's Samantha, I'm an evidential psychic medium, and I love the paranormal and exploring all things spooky, so let's dive into this one. Proctor Valley Road is an underserviced gravel dirt road that goes from Chula Vista to Jamul, and it's a 5-mile stretch of dirt road, and it's existed since the incorporation of San Diego County and served as a backcountry shortcut. But there's been so much lore spread about Proctor Valley Road that there's literally been a comic book series created about it.
That's
Not
crazy.
just many locals having their own experiences out on Proctor Valley Road at night and sharing their stories with everyone else, but also this was found by those working on the ecological preserve, which is essentially what Proctor Valley Road is now. It's past and now sits in a museum here in Bonita, which is close to Proctor Valley Road. And it is thought to belong to what can only be named as the Proctor Valley Monster.
What the hell?
I mean, there's also said to be full-bodied apparitions that people experience on this road of a woman wearing a blue dress. There's also said to
Yeah, you see, there we go once again, the woman with the white dress.
White blue
be
dress.
people experiencing things like a phantom car where they see lights in the distance or they drive up real close and they disappear. But there's also just so much local lore surrounding the area and stories that have been passed down from generation to generation since like the 1950s. This is how things become egregored. If enough people feed into the lore or feed into the story, then eventually it might just manifest to reflect back to you psychically. And in my opinion, that's what a lot of paranormal phenomena actually is. But the truth about the road is that it is underserviced, so it's gravel. You have to drive super slow on it, otherwise you can easily lose control of your car.
Told you.
The
Yeah.
road out there is a place where a lot of young kids would go to party and do other things throughout the years. And so there's been a lot of tragic accidents out there. That road has seen a lot of death. Not just from people dying in car accidents, but also there are people out there who are just walking through and end up passing away because of just exposure to the elements. So when you have a place like that that is filled with that kind of energy, it absolutely can manifest back to you, especially if people are putting a story to it or there's lore to it. It is just overall a spooky place to be at night. I myself have now investigated there twice. My very first paranormal investigation was on Proctor Valley Road. Then I went back for a second time with my husband. So I'll be posting a full episode of that to my YouTube at some point once I go through all the footage. But Sean and I are actually thinking of doing a whole
So yeah, so there we go. So apparently there's a monster
series on
legend
YouTube.
that I guess there's been some documentation, and I guess they have that evidence of a print that they dug up.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
You know, it's because you've never been over there, huh?
Nah, never.
You're like, I never will.
Nah, I don't want to.
There's, when you go through the Chula Vista side, through East H, and you start going down through where the dirt road starts, dude, there's like some huge ass mansions on your left hand side, but huge. And they're just like sitting there, and I don't know, I feel like that gives you more of like a spooky vibe because their backyard is turning into Proctor Valley.
But she mentioned something that I kind of agree on, right? That if there's so much talk, if there's so much focus about a specific thing or location, anything that you constantly have in your mind, that eventually it will manifest.
Yeah.
Right? And
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, and I truly believe that, right? Similar to when you were saying, I think we spoke about this in the past, that when you're watching movies or listening to stories either on YouTube or just having your headphones on, you're listening to this subconsciously and you're creating this in your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even Chelo from the last episode that I had with Anita, that she mentioned about the haunted house story, that you even got freaked out, right?
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be like, because Anita was talking about it, but then, dude, what got me was when she was fucking making the laugh.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm a night owl, so I usually go to sleep hella late, and Angel and the baby will be like knocked out, and I'll be like doing stuff around the house, and I'll be with my headphones listening to a podcast or whatever, and dude, all of a sudden, like, that comes up to my mind, like, oh, like her talking about the story and then her laughing, dude, and that shit paranoids me, because sometimes I'll be washing the dishes and then I'll be like, oh, what if something passes like on my side?
Fuck that,
or
dude.
dude, like, I don't know, like, I just, my head just starts like going places.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just you're constantly thinking about different things. So now every little thing that happens, you're be like
"Ugh."
you're gonna be like in shaky and pretty much just wondering whether or not it's actually happening, right?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why I'm not a big fan of any of this, because it really, really sticks in your mind. But yeah, so Proctor Valley, before you even had mentioned this, when you first told me the story, I had never heard of this place. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people from San Diego that till this day don't even know about it. I feel like it's not that popular. It's not that really well talked about, I guess.
I feel like unless you live in like the East Chula Vista area or like Bonita area, then you know about it. But if you live somewhere else, then you probably don't know about it.
Hoy Nomas podcast. Clips for full podcast link can be found on description below.
Hoy no más.